Hello and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles. Today we bring a story of a man who gets cheated on by his wife with multiple men and her trouble come back in multiples. Let's start. A few weeks ago, an unexpected twist shook the foundation of my relationship with Maria, my high school sweetheart and wife of many years. In a routine moment, I needed to use her laptop, only to be confronted with a dating website on the screen. The gravity of the situation struck me as I realized Maria had been engaged in conversations with 3 different men, having even met up with 2 of them. Stunned and seeking evidence, I discreetly took pictures with my phone before deciding to seek refuge at my best friend's place. Curiosity led me to investigate further, and one of the men seemed oddly familiar. It didn't take long to discover that his son was a patient at the pediatrician's office where Maria worked as a receptionist. This raised concerns, as professional boundaries dictate that she should not be engaging with patients' families outside of the workplace. Fueled by a mix of emotions, I decided to address the issue head-on. Taking a strategic approach, I contacted Maria's boss to schedule a meeting, seeking resolution and understanding. Simultaneously, I reached out to the wife of the man whose son was a patient at the pediatrician's office. Thankfully, she was receptive and agreed to meet to discuss the unsettling situation. Not stopping there, I delved into the lives of the other 2 men. One had a girlfriend, whom I messaged, but my attempts were met with a prompt block. The other man was single, leaving me with limited options for connecting with someone close to him. In my quest for truth and resolution, I went to the workplace of the first guy's girlfriend to find out that he had intercepted the message intended for her. Recognizing the misunderstanding, I apologized, and she graciously accepted, expressing gratitude for the honesty. Taking advantage of the situation, I asked if she would be willing to collaborate on a plan to surprise Maria, and she agreed. A few days later, I met with the wife of the other man, revealing the unsettling truth about her husband. Despite his denial, she had already confronted him and decided on a divorce. In a mix of emotions, I offered my congratulations, acknowledging the difficult path she was embarking on. At home, I confronted Maria with all the texts and details of her cheating. She outright denied everything. I decided to go silent in the matter. I packed my bags and left the house. I now wanted to put her in a spot where she cannot escape. Maria, fearing that her time is up, kept calling me. Initially, I chose to ignore her persistent calls, but my oldest daughter intervened, urging me to meet with Maria to hear her side of the story. Reluctantly, I agreed to the meeting. It is my turn now. I called the other 2 women and asked to meet at the coffee shop where I am supposed to meet Maria. They arrived 15 minutes before the time, and I was waiting for them. As we sat together, Maria walked in, demanding an explanation. Before I could utter a word, the guy's wife erupted. She hurled the most colorful and amazing words at Maria, and there was a point where I found it hard to hold on to my laughter. She accused Maria of breaking her family. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the other woman lunged at Maria. It was an absolute chaos. 2 women beating up my wife, and here I am watching the action from the front row. A man walked up and asked what is going on. My wife is getting beat up by 2 women. He looked at me with a puzzled look. I looked at him and shook my head and said, "Nah, I am not stopping them. She had it coming." The shop manager with 2 other women stopped the chaos and separated the woman. Maria got up all shaken, and she was missing a big patch of hair on her head. She burst into tears and ran out. A few days later, my oldest daughter informed me that Maria was seeking a divorce. In response, I contacted a lawyer, and the legal process has begun. I also spoke with Maria's boss, providing evidence of her involvement with the patient's father. Despite my intentions to protect the truth, my oldest daughter blamed me for getting her mom fired. I explained the situation, revealing the false narrative Maria had constructed for the kids, who believed I had left without reason. I granted them the freedom to choose whether or not to continue talking to their mom. Amidst this turmoil, one of the couples affected by Maria's actions is attempting to work through their problems, while the other is heading for a divorce. Surprisingly, the husband from the latter couple and I are exploring a connection, curious to see if it leads anywhere. Not only did my children react to the revelation, but Maria's sister also reached out, having heard a similar story. I chose honesty, revealing the truth, and now she, too, is upset with Maria. It's a challenging time, especially since I always liked her. We've decided to sell the house and split the costs in the divorce. Maria opposed this decision, but my lawyer argued for it. Despite the challenges, I can't deny a sense of vindication in uncovering the truth and taking steps to move forward. Now for the second story. I've been with my wife since we were both 14, and we got married at 23. We recently celebrated our 5th wedding anniversary in June. The topic of kids came up during a conversation a couple of nights ago, and things took an unexpected turn when my wife, who had been drinking, mentioned a pregnancy scare in 2017. This caught me off guard because the last scare we had was back in 2012 when we were both 21. I questioned her about it, and she tried to brush it off as a drunken slip of the tongue. However, I know her well, and I could tell something was amiss. I pressed her to tell me what she meant about the scare in 2017. As she tried to play it off again, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. I took her hand and insisted that she tell me the truth. That's when she broke down, crying as if something devastating had happened. She confessed that in 2017, during a holiday with her friends, she met some guys, and on the 6th day of the trip, they went to one of the guys' places to continue hanging out. Her friends ended up having sex with some of the guys, but she claimed to have stayed firm about being married. However, she admitted that one guy, who was charming and persuasive, managed to convince her to have some fun. She ended up at a guy's place, thousands of miles away from me. He convinced her that I would never find out, and this was her chance to experience something different from the only person she had ever slept with me. She initially resisted, claiming she felt guilty, but at some point, she stopped thinking about us and went along with it. They slept together multiple times during the trip. Her friends apparently didn't ask or say anything until the last day when they reassured her that they wouldn't reveal what happened, insisting that what happens here stays here. She broke down, feeling like she had a full-on mental breakdown. After the trip, she called me, said she needed some time, and went to her mother's place for a few weeks. During that time, she got tested and debated whether to confess. Eventually, she decided to put it behind her and strive to be a better, faithful wife. She distanced herself from those friends, and I noticed she made an effort to be a good wife and lover. I'm in a total daze right now. The revelation about my wife's past actions has left me feeling lost and overwhelmed. I spent an hour pacing around the work parking lot, and even my boss noticed something was off, telling me to head home if I needed to. My mind is racing, and I can't shake the feeling that everything I thought I knew about our relationship is now in question. I thought her recent efforts were just a sign that she missed me, but now it feels like she's been overcompensating all this time. She's tried to talk to me, crying a lot, acting like she's the one hurt by my silence. It's frustrating because I can't escape the fact that she was with another man, multiple times, and I would never have known if not for that chance conversation. I find myself wondering if there were other times she might have cheated, other scares with guys, and what she really did during all those moments she spent with friends. It's like I'm reevaluating our entire 14 years together. I still love her deeply, but at the same time, the sight of her makes me want to explode with anger. I hate that I'm feeling this way, torn between love and rage, wanting to scream and punch something. I'm at a complete loss about what I should do next. Dear listener, if you have reached this far, please click on the subscribe button. It will be a great help.